Mr. Eberly! I say, Mr. Eberly! Mr. Eberly! I say, Mr. Eberly!
Rang a voice from around the corner of a dark stone hallway. If there was one thing the University of Pittsburgh was known for, it was its unwelcoming grounds. If there were two things, they were that and Professor Leo Chudnovsky chasing people through hallways. On most days, the professor ran his more than supple Russian frame through hallways and past classrooms, searching for one man in particular. Today was no different. His mustache was beyond bountiful and bounced as he ran through small crowds of students. His plaid shirts were numerous enough that one could never be sure if he ever wore the same shirt in a calendar year. Yet he could never seem to find one that fully covered the chest hair that leapt from the tops of them.
Mr. Eberly! Oh, Dios mío! Mr. Eberly! Won't you be found?
The Mr. Eberly in question was Dr. Brandon Eberly, a resident physicist who filled his days with research, playing the trombone, jazzercising, and the occasional game of chess. Today, however, he was spending all of his time hiding from Professor Chudnovsky, affectionately known as the Chud by most. Leo had a knack for trouble, and an even bigger knack for getting others into even bigger trouble. Today, Brandon decided that he had no time for trouble, especially the sort that Chud usually doled out. Indeed, the last time he had blindly agreed to help the Chud with a task, he had ended up in Venice, without a dollar to his name and no knowledge of the Italian language. Were it not for the help of a kindly merchant and his English-speaking mistress, he'd most likely still be begging for gondola rides to drier places. He shook his blondish afro and knew that he wanted nothing to do with whatever it was the Chud had in store for him today. As luck would have it, Brandon was running in the opposite direction of the sounds of Leo's thick Czech accent when he stumbled upon an empty closet. As bad luck would have it, the closet was occupied by a rather large gray cat who was none too fond of no longer being the sole occupant.
Yeah!
Said Brandon, or something like it. At this, the cat decided to attack and lunged at his legs, biting furiously. Hearing the scuffle and figuring it to be two students, the Chud flung open the door.
Dios mío! Mr. Eberly!
Screamed the Chud.
Doctor, and do something about this cat, please!
Begged Brandon. At this, Leo took up a broom and batted the cat's tail. It went running, and Brandon nearly ran after it until his sense of ethics took over. Catching his breath and feeling grateful, he managed to thank Leo and asked him what he had wanted. Leo's thick Spanish brow furrowed and he scowled at him. Brandon thought for a moment that he might have hurt Leo's feelings, but soon the Chud's scowl turned into a smile as his Scandinavian mouth gave way to his crooked British teeth.
Dr. Eberly, forgive me.
He said, grinning.
I have another favor to ask of you, and this time, the job is right up your alley.
His cold French eyes did not belie the warmth of his rosy Polish cheeks.
It is another adventure, but this time, there are benefits.
What sort of benefits? He asked, cautiously.
The best sort. The cash sort. The fame sort.
Money or fame had never meant much to Brandon.
You'll have to do better than that, Leo. My best days are past me now, and I can't be bothered to run around the globe on these errands of yours. If there's not a life on the line...
But there is!
Who?
Brian Haynes.
No. Not that Brian Haynes.
Do you know another?
Brandon knew that there could be no other Brian Haynes, even in name. Almost sick with having to ask, he said,
Leo, where?